The 2020 Nissan Altima, driven. For the past 2 years, Nissan has been selling about 210,000 Altimas, the midsize sedan that's been lurking in the shadows behind its Japanese peers from Honda and Toyota since 2014. The introduction of the 6th-generation model in 2018 didn't turn the tides in Nissan's favor, and we drove a range-topping Platinum with the 2.0-liter turbocharged engine to see why more people and businesses choose an Accord or a Camry over the Altima. Fresh-faced and with a variety of clever features such as semi-autonomous driving functions, the Altima is Nissan's bid to regain the lead in the once-booming midsize sedan segment. While people generally moved away from sedans in favor of MPVs and SUVs, the big players in the market still move in excess of 320,000 units a year of their best-selling models, and Nissan hopes the Altima, a $24,000 proposition in its cheapest form, can keep the company's otherwise leaking boat from sinking. 2020 Nissan Altima driving impressions. We think you won't come across an Altima owner who, exuding a sense of unwarranted pride, will tell you right away that he bought his Altima for the way it drives, or that he's taken aback by the way the car surges when you floor it, for this car was designed with families and company fleets in mind. It wasn't conceived to excel at giving your headrest a chance to take a mold of the back of your head when accelerating, nor was it supposed to grip through corners like a 4-door Golf GTI with a trunk. You go for an Altima if honest motoring is what you're after, with a little bit extra sprinkled on top. That's why it'd be profoundly wrong to get behind the wheel of the 6th-gen Altima thinking it's a driver's car, at the very least. However, it does handle itself better than its predecessor, but somehow, it still feels underpowered even with the Meteor turbo engine under the hood that cranks out a cool 248 horsepower on 93 octane or 236 horsepower on 87 octane gas. Oh, and one thing we must get out of the way quickly: if you want the turbo unit, you can only have it with FWD. Just the 188 horsepower 2.5-liter, naturally aspirated 4-pot can send power to all 4 wheels through Nissan's intelligent AWD that costs extra. Even without AWD, the Altima is reassuring to drive, although the steering can be a bit laggy. Car and Driver says an AWD Altima has more cornering grip than the comparable 3 Series BMW, which we can't vouch for, but what we can say is that the Platinum we drove is comfortable even on the more uneven of surfaces, despite the car being equipped with the 19-inch rims. All the buzz around the new Altima surrounded the VC Turbo, a clever unit freshly added to Nissan's lineup after being dropped first in the Infiniti QX50 that is about as efficient as the 2.5-liter NA while offering some 50 extra horsepower. While the power comes in progressively with an even delivery, you mustn't forget the Altima weighs over 3,400 pounds, and this influences the way it goes. In short, if you've driven the 5th-gen model powered by the 188 horsepower engine, you'll be thankful for the added ponies. If not, and you're fresh out of a more powerful car, the Altima will still feel lackluster in the way it gets going, although the CVT gearbox does its job and you really won't feel the need to row your own gears. 2020 Nissan Altima exterior design. The current generation Nissan Altima was introduced in 2018 at the New York International Auto Show after being previewed by the V-Motion 2.0 concept. Like the concept car, the Altima's U-shaped grille is larger and more aggressive than on the Maxima, with an added grille surrounding the edge of the chrome frame just adding to the grille frenzy. Blacked-out panels separate the lower grille from the angled, aggressive front light clusters that collide with the chrome surround, ending with arrow-shaped daytime running lights. The fog lights and indicators are placed on either side of the lower bumper directly above protruding lips that come out of the bumper without actually lowering the edge of the bumper. The hood's grooves help make the nose seem like it plunges more than it actually does. When viewed from the side, the Altima's swooping roofline is noticeably emphasized by the semi-blacked-out C-pillar, as Nissan fully embraced the floating roofline trend, which, while an awful design trick on most MPVs, looks good in this application. You could complement the chrome on the lower part of the window frame by adding a chromed bar to the rocker panels, but our test car did not come with the $265 side moldings. Similar chromed bits are available for the rear bumper at $165 a protector. The back end of the Altima is, frankly speaking, uninspiring. By and large, the taillights don't differ too much from what we got on the post-facelift 2017-2018 Altima, but the optional trunk lid spoiler worth $420 isn't a tacky addition as we've found out, and you can check it out for yourself in the picture gallery. Overall, the 6th Gen Altima looks more modern and more aggressive than the old one, and its silhouette is probably more svelte than that of the Accord. We'd go as far as saying it also outdoes Toyota's Camry in the looks department, even as the Camry doesn't come with the god-forsaken bumper-sized grille of the Avalon. Props to Nissan. Then, how big is the 2020 Nissan Altima? In short, the Altima is just as big as you'd expect a midsize sedan to be. Crunching down the numbers, we found an insignificant difference of under an inch between the Camry, Accord, and Altima. Length-wise, they both slightly exceed 192 inches or 16 feet, and all three are about 72 to 73 inches wide. They're also, remarkably, just as tall, and the wheelbase of the Altima and the Accord are actually identical, 111.2 inches. With the Kia Optima, Hyundai Sonata, and Mazda 6 also just as big on the outside, it effectively comes down on which used the space better on the inside, as there's nothing to choose from between most midsize sedans in terms of exterior dimensions. 2020 Nissan Altima interior design. If you get out of the old Altima and into the new one, you'll notice a change for the better in the way the cabin looks, but otherwise, the 2020 Altima isn't a frontrunner when it comes to particularly modern interiors. However, everything you'd hope to find inside, especially in our upper trim Platinum model, is there. The first thing you'll see is that Nissan added some wood grain finish on the dash in conjunction with some piano black surfacing and leather on the seats and central armrest. It all looks nice and even premium-ish, but the 8-inch infotainment screen in the middle of the dash screams afterthought. The seats are comfortable so your back won't be aching if you take your Altima across the country for the holidays, and Nissan has kept most of the buttons on the dash with physical operation, and we think this is a good thing. VW's Sci-Fi Golf cabin may look nice in the pictures, but we're still a while away from fully sorting out dashes with no buttons or knobs. As such, you'll find yourself rotating some knobs to set the temperature of the climate control system, and you'll press buttons down below for the fan speed and direction. The infotainment screen too has physical buttons as well as two knobs on either side to get you through the menus, and there are more buttons on the semicircular steering wheel that we do like. While fit and finish isn't quite premium, it's a step up from what you'd find in older Altimas and, more so, what you'd find on a base trim model due to the use of better materials throughout. The exterior rear view mirrors have a memory function. On top of that, the wheel and seats are heated. Is the 2020 Nissan Altima spacious? If we take into account how well you feel as a front row passenger, then yes, we can say there's room aplenty inside the Altima, but the back seat is slightly cramped. Taking a look at the number, the Nissan and its rivals from Honda and Toyota all offer just as much room in the front, but the Altima offers just 36.7 inches of headroom in the back versus 38 inches in the back of a Camry. Legroom is also a bit down in the back of an Altima at just about 35 inches compared to 38 inches in the Camry and 40.4 inches respectively in the back of an Accord. 2020 Nissan Altima technology. The Altima doesn't boast with class-leading tech, but all the bases are just about covered in a Platinum model. You get, for instance, the 360-degree cameras that display an image of your car and its surroundings from above on the central infotainment screen. The issue here is that the 8-inch display's lacking in resolution, and that's hard to forgive in the year 2020. Other noteworthy features are the remote engine start with intelligent climate control that warms up the car on the inside before you've jumped inside. Meanwhile, Nissan's Nissan Connect infotainment system has been bolstered by the addition of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto Standard on the Platinum, as well as Siri Eyes-Free, Bluetooth streaming audio, and hands-free text messaging assistant with voice recognition. Also works with Nissan's built-in navigation system. We also enjoyed the sound coming from the Altima's Bose 9-speaker sound system, whose clean sound was enhanced by the active noise cancellation system. What isn't that fancy is that Nissan only offers 2 USB ports and 2 USB-C ports and 1 auxiliary jack. More could work. Having said that, the Altima's infotainment system can be upgraded with a dealer-installed 4G LTE mobile hotspot. 2020 Nissan Altima safety equipment. As far as passive and active safety features are concerned, Nissan's crammed just about all it can offer in the range-topping Altima, as you'd expect. The car comes with a tire pressure monitoring system, but even the impact sensors are an optional extra. Mandatory forward collision warning and automated emergency braking is there, as well as blind spot monitoring, high beam assist, rear cross-traffic alert, and lane keeping assist is also available as standard equipment, with the adaptive cruise control being bolstered by the presence of Nissan's semi-autonomous drive mode, ProPilot Assist that can keep your Altima in its lane unless it rains or snows heavily. 2020 Nissan Altima cargo room. The Altima is sandwiched by its Japanese peers from Honda and Toyota when it comes to cargo space. With the seats up, the trunk is big enough to take in 15.4 cubic feet of your groceries, which makes it bigger than a Camry and '039's trunk, 15.1 cubic feet, but smaller than an Accord and '039's 16.7 cubic feet, with 60/40 split fold-down rear seat backs. The Altima can be made even more practical, and the presence of latch anchors in full view means you can throw in as many as 3 child seats, forward-facing or rearward-facing. It doesn't matter, there is enough room in the back. 2020 Nissan Altima drivetrain and chassis. The optional 2.0-liter turbocharged engine is the most important bit underneath the skin of the Altima. While base trim models come with the lackluster 2.5-liter, 16-valve DOHC inline-4 that puts out just 188 horsepower, the 2.0-liter turbo is good for as much as 248 horsepower if you feed it with high-octane gas. Nissan calls this mill the VC Turbo, as it features the quite innovative variable compression technology. Variable compression means that, by altering the piston stroke, the compression ratio can be changed to give the car more power when needed. A linkage inside the engine deals with the millimetric change that happens in real time. As something you'll find helpful when putting the pedal to the metal, you'll be happy to hear the Altima is quicker than its nearest competitors accelerating down the highway, although, as we've mentioned, it isn't a speed king overall. The turbocharged engine, coming in as a replacement for the 3.5-liter V6, delivers max power at 5,600 revolutions per minute and max torque at 4,000 revolutions per minute. Suspension is independent at all 4 corners, with disc brakes hiding behind each of those 4 19-inch rims. Car and driver managed to get the Altima to stop from 70 miles per hour in just 170 feet, comparable to what an Accord or a Camry can muster. The CVT transmission is smooth but not particularly quick, and, weirdly enough, the upper trim Platinum models don't come with flappy paddles behind the wheel, which are available on SR models that, otherwise, feature the exact same transmission. 2020 Nissan Altima fuel economy. The move away from naturally aspirated engines and onto turbos is arguably universal in the automotive world nowadays, as a turbo develops more power and is more economical than a comparable N.A. mill. Point in case, this 2.0-liter DOHC 16-valve inline-4 offered in the Platinum Altima, also available with the SR trim level. It puts out 248 horsepower, or 236 if fueled with 87-octane fuel, and that's only 22 horsepower down on the 270 horsepower available from the now-retired 3.5-liter V6, which, in turn, delivered less torque at 251 pound-feet versus as much as 273 pound-feet with the turbo. On top of the performance of the new 4-pot, the forced induction engine yields quite good fuel economy figures, Nissan saying it gets 25 mpg city, 34 highway, and 29 combined. That's better than both the Camry XSE and the Accord Touring, despite the fact that one comes with a 3.5-liter V6 Camry, and the other with a 2.0-liter turbo. Having said that, the 2.0-liter turbo still isn't quite as economical as the 2.5-liter NA, which gets up to 28 mpg city and 39 mpg highway. In an economy run down the highway, the VC Turbo can get near the official highway figures of the 2.5-liter NA, but the Accord and Camry better it, with the latter getting 45 mpg if you're really easy on your throttle and steering inputs. How fast is the 2020 Nissan Altima? The fastest of the old 3.5-liter Altimas could just about dip below the 6.0-second mark in the 0 to 60 miles per hour acceleration test, and the 6th-gen model we drove is just as fast with an official 0 to 60 time of 5.9 seconds. What's more impressive, however, is how it pulls on the highway, the Altima needing just 4.1 seconds to go from 50 to 70 miles per hour on the highway, faster than both a similar Accord and Camry. To put it in some sort of context, the 188 horsepower non-turbocharged mill won't get you to 60 miles per hour from a standstill before at least 7 seconds have elapsed. Away from the figures, the Altima isn't a particularly fast car. Sure, the engine does its job in making the 3,400-pound sedan feel quicker than its predecessor, but not by much. We think its performance is satisfactory for a family car, but that's about it. 2020 Nissan Altima pricing. The base model Altima S costs $24,100 before taxes, with the AWD version an extra $1,350. Sadly, you can't have AWD with the turbo, but if you still want traction to all four wheels and the amenities offered by the Platinum trim level, you can pick the bigger N/A engine, this combo setting you back $33,530, while our car had an MSRP of $35,180 and an as-tasted price of almost $37,000. The Accord is similarly priced, with the Touring's $36,250 sticker price, while the Camry is $35,130 if you pick the XSE trim level with the 3.5-liter V6. Pair the XSE with a smaller engine, aka less power, and the price goes down to $30,830 with taxes. The sporty Camry TRD is also cheaper than the Platinum VC Turbo at $31,995 without optional extras. 2020 Nissan Altima competition. 2020 Honda Accord. Unlike both the Toyota and the Nissan, Honda still offers the Accord with a 6-speed manual, and we like that transmission in combination with any engine, but especially with the range-topping 2.0-liter turbo. Having said that, the 10-speed automatic is incredibly smooth, and it's best suited if you want the hybrid version that comes with a 4-cylinder engine and 2 electric motors. Inside, an Accord Touring will come with an 8-inch infotainment display in the middle of what is a slightly dated but otherwise well-laid-out dashboard with good fit finish. The Touring boasts with heated and cooled leather front seats, heated rear seats, and a head-up display as standard features. The 10-speaker audio system beats the Nissan's by 1 speaker, and it's also slightly more powerful with its 450-watt amplifier. Storage space is plentiful in the back, but inside, there aren't that many storage spaces compared to the more compact Civic. Lane keeping assist, automated emergency braking, and adaptive cruise control are standard in most Accords, while the Touring also sports blind spot monitoring and rear cross-traffic alert that earned it a top safety pick from the IIHS. At the end of the day, the Accord presents itself with few flaws. We think it drives better than the Altima, although outward visibility is roughly as bad, but, as a package, the Accord is one of, if not the best midsize sedan out there, and Nissan's still got some catching up to do. Read our full review on the 2020 Honda Accord. 2020 Toyota Camry. The latest Camry is, not surprisingly, the greatest one, and there's not much left to be desired in terms of equipment. The XSE trim level delivers when it comes to tech, with stuff like forward collision warning and automated emergency braking, lane departure warning and lane keeping assist, and adaptive cruise control, all standard. As a result, the IIHS awarded the Camry with a Top Safety Pick Plus for 2018, while the Nissan Altima only received the Top Safety Pick rating. The naturally aspirated V6 under the hood of the overly aggressive Camry puts out 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque that can be sent to either the front wheels or all four wheels via an 8-speed automatic transmission. AWD is a $1,400 option. The powerful engine for this segment is paired with a well-balanced chassis and responsive steering that isn't too light. If you wish for an even stiffer, better-handling Camry, the TRD should be your choice, as it comes with the V6, is almost $4,000 cheaper than the XSE, and features retuned dampers with stiffer springs, beefier anti-roll bars, additional chassis bracing, bigger brakes, and TRD's own exhaust system. The catch? There's no leather inside the Camry TRD, nor does it come with the myriad of safety features available from the get-go in the XSE. Talking about its features, the Camry is equipped with the Entune 3.0 infotainment system on all trim levels, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard too. The cabin has a clear-up-market feel in the XSE, unlike the cheap-looking interior fit finish of the base model. So, if you go for the Camry, you'll have the best Camry Toyotas ever did, a car that beat its own official highway MPG rating in C&D's economy run, and, unlike the Nissan, a hybrid version is available, as well as AWD on the XSE trim level. Read our full review on the 2020 Toyota Camry. Final thoughts: the 2020 Nissan Altima is a step in the right direction as Nissan worked to iron out some of the flaws of the 5th-gen model. While it's nowhere near a revolution, the Altima is an enticing option in a very competitive sector, despite the massive sales drop of the past 5 to 10 years, and, frankly, we'd like to try out that 2.0-liter VC turbo with an AWD setup, which isn't possible for the time being.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.